Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to design and 3D print this phone case that lets you mount your GoPro on top of your phone. It's been a while since I did my last SolidWorks tutorial on my channel, and so I kind of want to start doing those again, and I just thought it'd be a good idea to make this the first design. Now this is a really useful thing when it comes to filming with the GoPro. I've had this design for, I'd say, 3 years, and it started out when I had my iPhone 5S, which was quite a while ago. And so it's basically the same design, except obviously it's smaller. And this phone case lasted me, for about a year and a half, which is when I upgraded to this one. And so, I mean, it's still together. It still holds up pretty good. And so when I got the 6S, I wanted to design the exact same thing, but obviously bigger. And I did a few modifications, which I think made it a lot better. And so the design of the phone case itself is pretty simple, I'd say. It's a single piece design, which is flexible enough to open up and let you slide your phone in there. And so I wanted it to be one piece only, because I thought that would make it more secure, and it's one less thing you have to carry around, So I designed this phone case in SolidWorks, and then I had it 3D printed through Shapeways, just because the quality is a lot higher if you do it through them, I think. And so I've included the download links to the phone case in my website, and I included the SolidWorks file as well as the STL file in case you want to 3D print on your own printer. And so I'm going to link it below in the description, and you're welcome to go to my website and download it. Alright, so let's get started. First, obviously, you're going to have to make a new part in SolidWorks. You want to open up a sketch on the top plane. Let's do that. And then you do a rectangle. Like that. And then we can go ahead and smart dimension that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change that to millimeters. And so the radius on all these corners is 10.1 millimeters. Alright. And so we can go ahead and exit out of this sketch, and then we're going to make a new sketch on the front plane. So if you hit space and then click this, it takes you automatically to that. And now we're going to begin making the profile for the phone case. So this is what you end up with. And now we are going to do a swept boss / base. And for this right here, you select what we just drew, and then for the path you do the outline of the phone. And so this is what you end up with. My computer's being really slow, so. Alright, so we basically completed the hardest part of the phone case. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to this other. I'm gonna pick up where we left off, and to save some time, I'm just gonna walk you through the process of adding all the extra holes and whatnot. And so I'm going to roll this forward one step. And so what I did here was I rounded off the corners with a 1.5 radius, and so to do that you just have to go to this button right here and then select those outer edges. Alright, now for this part, alright, so what I did was I started a sketch on the right plane, and if we look at that, you can see some dimensions. Now this right here is diameter of the outer circle, and then this is the diameter for the inside circle, which is where your screw goes through. And this 10 millimeters is from the top of the case to the center of both of those circles. And so once we extrude that, what I did was click on mid plane, and then I did 15 millimeters, so it's 7 millimeters on one side and then 7 millimeters on the other, or 7.5 millimeters, and then you get that right there. And then I did the slots for the GoPro, to go in there. And now if we look at the sketch for that, I basically did a sketch on the top plane. No, it was the front plane. And here you can see the dimensions. So it's all in increments of 3. And so you have a 3 millimeter solid, and then you have a 3 millimeter gap, and then another solid, and then a gap, and then another solid. And the depth of the cut is 16.32 millimeters. I did a cut extrude, I did mid plane, and then this number doesn't matter, you just have to make sure it goes all the way through. And so then we move on to this part right here, which is where the hex nut goes. If you look at the sketch for that, it is the outer circle is going to be 12.08 millimeters. Now this, you can make it as big as you want. You could, if we get rid of this, if we were to get rid of that, you could, if you wanted to, you could make it go all the way out, or I wouldn't recommend making it thinner because that would just compromise the strength of it. And so if we did that, and then for this right here, all you do is go to this tool right here, the polygon tool, and then you choose the 6 sides, and then you just draw it out. And you got to make sure that your outside dimensions from one side to the other is 8.10 millimeters. And so we're gonna extrude that by 3.175 millimeters. Now this is another one of those things that it's not very crucial how much you extrude it. I mean, you could do that if you want. It would just be hard to get the hex nut in there. So let's go back to that. And then this is just for looks. You can make that add a fillet there to kind of smooth out the edges. And so we're done with the GoPro mount, and now we're going to make this cut right here, which is what lets you separate the 2 ends of the phone case to slide your phone in there. If we look at the sketch on that, it's basically just a 0.75 millimeter gap. So it just has to be big enough to for your printer to make a gap and not connect the 2 pieces together. And so now we're gonna make the cutouts for the volume control. I'm gonna roll that up. Now this right here, I did this little cutout so it's easier to reach the buttons. And so it's just a Alright, so that should give you enough dimensions to be able to make that cutout, and you got to make sure that it goes all the way out to the edge. So when you go to make the cutout, you know, it cuts through the whole thing. So then that gives you that right there. And now to make the cutout, we go, now we're going to add some dimensions. So from the center of this to, let's say, the top of the phone, it's going to be 36.9. You can probably round that number up to 95. That should be good. You can round that up to 36.95, and then from one end to the other end should be, let's go ahead and round that up to 4. Alright, and then the radius of this is 2.23. Then we're going to go ahead and exit out of that. And then now we're going to do the same thing for the lock button. So if we look at the sketch for that, from this to, let's say this right, oh, not that. Okay, so from here to here, 16.29. I'm trying to stick close to the original dimensions. And so now the length of this is 16.12. Okay. And so the dimension for this is going to be 16.72. And then the thickness is going to be 1.4, and the angle for these two is going to be 150 degrees for both. So we're going to make that cutout, and now we're going to add the cutout for the actual lock button, which, if we look at the sketch, so from here, now let's do it from the center to there. That's going to be 36.91. The radius is going to be 2.71, and then the overall length from one end to the other is going to be 7.94. And then we're going to go ahead and make that cut. Alright, it's coming together pretty good. Now what I did also is made this chamfer, so it makes it a little, this is just aesthetics, I guess, makes it look better. And then I did the same thing for the volume. That's before and after. Alright, now we're gonna go ahead and start making our headphone jack cutouts and all that. Alright. So for this, you just have to start a sketch on the bottom plane. Alright, so we have a circle. So you measure from here to here should be 15. So if you measure from one end to the other to the center of that circle, it's going to be 15.34, and you want your radius to be 3.12. And then you make another circle 5 millimeters to the right of that previous one, and you make the radius of that 1.71 millimeters. Wait, the dimension's already up on top, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. And then all you have to do, you're gonna have two circles, like right here and then right here, and you just gotta connect those two, make the line tangent to both of those circles, and then trim the inside of it.
and then go ahead and do the cutout. And that's what you end up with. And then again, for aesthetics, I'm gonna do a chamfer on that. Now the reason for not just doing one circle is because the iPhone 6s has a microphone down here, so you have to make a cutout for that also. And then now we're gonna move over to the charge port. Now for this, look at the sketch. This is pretty much centered on the phone, so you just find the center point, draw your line, and then go to here, and then you just gotta make 2 points and do that. And then dimension it according to this for the diameter, and then 6 millimeters across. Just gonna get rid of that, and then you just go ahead and cut it out, and then do a chamfer on that. Now we're gonna move over to the speaker. We'll get the sketch. All right, keep in mind that all of these cutouts are centered from top to bottom, so they're all on one single line. And now for this thing, we're gonna do from the center of this to the outside of that is gonna be 17.5 millimeters, and then it's gonna be 12.5 millimeters across with a radius of 1.834. You can round that off to 1.83. And then we go ahead and do the cutout and add a chamfer. So that pretty much does the trick, I guess. Now, one thing that I found out after having this printed is that I needed a small hole for the camera on the back, just so because if you were to leave it like that, then it would cover up a small portion of the camera. And so if you look at the sketch on that, I'm gonna go ahead and dimension this from here to here, 9.16, and then from this edge to the side, or from the center to the side edge, it's gonna be 15.575, and then the radius for that is gonna be 9.34 millimeters. And then you go ahead and do the cutout and add the chamfer. Oh, okay, this chamfer right here was added to the whole inside edge, and then I went ahead and did the same for the opposite side. No, I did it actually, and then for the front of it, I made a cutout for the home button, because since it has the fingerprint scanner, you want to be able to lay your thumb flat on there, and so you kind of want to do a small cutout in the front. You just got to put a circle with a diameter of 11.17 millimeters, and then 4.8 millimeters from the center to the edge right here, and it obviously is going to be centered from left to right. So you do that, and then I did a chamfer on the whole front edge, inside edge, to make it a little smooth. And then, what is this box? And then this is another one of those changes that I made afterwards. I wanted this to be a little stronger, so I went ahead and extruded the whole thing all the way to the front. Just it makes it a little thicker and more secure. And so there you have it.
Alright, that wraps it up. Thanks for checking out my channel, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of these, subscribe, because I will be posting more. Also, don't forget to head over to my website where I'll have links to the files included in there for you to download. Thanks for watching.